Hi everybody, this is now the third time I'm filming this video. The previous two times it always manages to get, to a half hour plus in terms of length, and I go on my usual tangents. So this is now the third time. I hope I'm able to get it done this time in a very succinct and quick manner, but also with the seriousness that the topic deserves. So to cut right to the chase, I am retiring from this channel indefinitely, and I am specifically stepping away from my usual long-form series team builder type of content, especially regarding Backyard Baseball 2003. The truth is, I haven't been happy with the direction of this channel for quite some time, and the events of the past 2 years or so have just been further confirmation that I now need to step away and focus on the things that matter more to me. I'll also make it clear starting off here that I am not looking for advice or affirmation or anything of the sort. This decision is final, and I have reached this conclusion after a very long period of consideration and contemplation. This channel has evolved from a hobby that I originally had to pass time during the early stages of the pandemic into something that has felt like more of an obligation ever since I gained YouTube partner eligibility in October 2022. Now that I was suddenly making money off these videos, I felt like this was now a very unique and special opportunity, a privilege even, that I now had to see through, that I now had to follow through on. But like so many things in life, once money gets involved, things start to get complicated and even go downhill. This is ultimately what started a very toxic relationship between me and this channel. Its numbers, the performance of each video, etc. When you are a quote small YouTuber unquote like I am, and every view, every like, and every comment counts, it becomes very obvious even early on when certain types of content work and certain types of content don't work. Right around the time I first became a YouTube partner, I started my very first non-Backyard Baseball series. That was my Backyard Football 2006 team builder series, where I constructed a team led by my creative player, Tim Tebow, and featuring 6 other subscriber-created custom kids. At the time, this was my favorite series yet. I felt more confident in my commentary and my editing than ever before. I loved the new increased level of interaction between myself and the viewing audience, and I even did a pretty decent job at sticking to a weekly upload schedule. But at the time, it was clear that those videos were not performing nearly as well as my Backyard Baseball videos. Over the course of 2023, I started to experiment much more with my content. Instead of my usual long-form episodic series length type of content, I uploaded far more mini-series and one-off type videos. I introduced several new games to the channel and even left the backyard sports universe for the first time. And with each passing upload, it became more and more clear that my audience did not want to watch me play anything other than backyard baseball. Now, I have to pause here to make it clear that I am not pointing the finger at you, the audience, and saying that this is all your fault. Of course not. I can't force you, the audience, to enjoy every single thing I upload. I've been a YouTube user for over 15 years now, and I am subscribed to a ton of channels. And yes, there are plenty of channels I'm subscribed to where I do not watch everything they upload. Maybe they have a series that I don't really care for, or maybe I can tell just by the title and thumbnail of a particular video that I am not really interested in watching it. This is a fine and completely normal thing. Just because you're subscribed to somebody on YouTube does not mean you are obligated to watch and enjoy everything that that person produces. But I also have to note that as a content creator, it does become frustrating when your preferences and goals for your content become more and more disjointed from what your audience wants to see. I hope what I'm about to say doesn't upset my viewers, but it must be said, I don't want to play backyard baseball forever. There are other things in my life that I am far more passionate about and more interested in, and I would rather spend my time focusing on those other things, especially in the realm of content creation. And yet I run a YouTube channel, this one, where over the course of the past 3-ish, 4 years, I have built up an audience that, for the most part, only wants to watch me play one specific game. The nail in the coffin moment for this channel, I think specifically, was during the Retro Bowl series. Let's be clear, Retro Bowl is a massively popular mobile sports game. There are roughly 100,000 active users on its subreddit. It has been downloaded millions of times, and there are several very successful YouTube channels, I'm talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers, that have been built up off the back of Retro Bowl content. So I knew that with my Retro Bowl series, I would have the opportunity to broaden my reach and tap into a new large audience. Plus, it helped that I absolutely love the game and I've devoted way too many hours to it over the past couple years. But for whatever reason, this series was a complete failure. My videos were not pushed to any new reaches of the YouTube algorithm, and it is no stretch to say that several videos in my Retro Bowl series are the worst performing videos in the history of this channel. And when you are 3 years deep into your YouTube journey, you do not want your most recent uploads to be the worst performing uploads in the history of your channel. Once that series concluded, I finally knew truly that I had to end this chapter. And with that, I began work on an idea that I had for more than 2 years, which was sending off the Backyard Baseball series playthrough on a high note that I always wanted it to end on. Starting with the immaculate season in season 1 with the Devil Rays, moving on to the Mighty Monsters in season 2 and going 1-13 with the worst possible lineup, and completing the worst to first rebuild in season 3. I had that planned out for a very long time, and I'm very glad that I got to end the series the way I always wanted to finish it. But I do have to say something else, and I hope that this doesn't ruin the immersion or just those videos in general for any of you in the audience, but this has to be said. This recent series, the final Mighty Monsters series, the final Backyard Baseball series, was the most unpleasant experience I have ever had on the production end with any content I have ever produced on YouTube. If the Retro Bowl series was the nail in the coffin moment for this channel, then the production process of this most recent Backyard Baseball series was just further affirmation that I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never had a more grueling and exhausting experience while editing and producing videos. And just as one other quick aside, there is a reason why most full-time YouTubers outsource their editing. This was just a very unpleasant experience all around, and with that, it appears I have reached an important turning point in the life of this channel. I have not been able to branch out creatively in the ways I want to, referring of course to the types of content I produce on this channel. I have cultivated a steady, loyal audience that wants to watch me produce one specific type of content, and I am no longer satisfied personally or creatively with that specific type of content. We are now at an impasse, and with that, I feel that it would be best for me to simply step away. This is not me saying that I will never upload to this channel ever again, but it is me saying that if and when I do, it will be in a different format than what you have all become accustomed to. Meaning it will not be my standard long form series length type of content, and it will be very infrequent. It'll be whenever I have a very specific creative spark and the time and means to do so. Again, I want to make this very clear. None of this is the fault of you, the viewer. I cannot control what you want and don't want to watch. This is more of an issue of me mentally and internally allowing this channel to become a roadblock, an obstacle, rather than the fun hobby it started out as. Throughout the production of this most recent series, it really did feel as though this final stretch of content was this gigantic hill that I had to ascend and conquer to move on to the rest of my life. Even just saying that out loud, I have to tell myself what a lot of y'all are probably thinking right now, which is, dude, it's just YouTube. It's not that serious. And you're absolutely correct. That's why I am stepping away indefinitely. I cannot express how much I value and appreciate your support over these past few years. Every subscriber, every like, every comment. I thank you. This has been a fun chapter, but it is one that definitely needs to close at this point of my life. Thank you all again, and I'll see you later on down the road.